guys. Welcome to a live edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Thank you for coming out, New York. I mean, it just sucks our guest tonight has nothing to talk about. I don't know what we could discuss tonight. I am so beyond thrilled to welcome this guest back to Happy, Sad, Confused, and especially in this live format. Welcome to the New Yorkers out here. Welcome to the folks watching live around the world. He's one of my favorite people. He's a big old nerd just like me, without apology. I love that about him. He's a fantastic actor. You know him as The Witcher. You know him thanks to Enola Holmes and the new Enola Holmes 2 opening on November 4th on Netflix as Sherlock Holmes. And you know him as the past, present, and future Superman. Please give a warm welcome to Henry Cavill, everybody. Oh, Henry.
Hi, everyone.
So, how's your week going, Henry?
It's been pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything new? Anything you want to say?
Not really, no.
We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about all aspects of your wonderful career. You've got a lot going on. I just want to deal with, let the cat out of the bag, spoiler alert. I just want to get the big questions out of the way. Welcome back, Superman. How does it feel? Does it feel like there's a weight off the shoulders? The questions have been there for years. We didn't know if we were ever going to see you in the suit again. And spoiler alert, we've seen him in the suit again, and hopefully there's more to come. How are you feeling about this?
The character, how you guys expressed it is exactly how I feel. It's the character means so much to me, and it's been 5 years now. And I've, quite rightly, otherwise I probably shouldn't deserve to wear the cape, but I never gave up hope. And it's amazing to be here now talking about it again. There is such a bright future ahead for the character. And I'm so excited to tell a story with an enormously joyful Superman.
Yes. As much as you're willing to say, can you tell me a little bit about how it happened, how this recent cameo happened, and what it was like to get back into the costume?
Well, I was on Witcher, and I got the call saying, hey, this is happening. When can you do it? I was like, I'm working 6-day weeks. I don't know when I can do that. And they said, well, look, we've got these dates. And I said, okay, cool, right, I'll come in and do it. And we had to get clearance from Witcher production at the time, but it was so top secret, we couldn't tell them what. We just said, hey, there's this thing I've got to do. Can you clear me for it? And I don't know whether anyone suspected or not, because there was all the talk about Comic-Con at the time as well.
Right.
And so then I went to Leavesden Studios, Warner Brothers Studios in the UK, and on a super secret set, all whispers and all sort of capes and everything all hidden, and got back in the suit. And it was a very powerful moment for me. I wasn't too sure how I was going to feel, whether it was going to be, okay, cool, yeah, back in the suit, or whether it was going to be something which was very emotionally connective, because I put the Man of Steel suit back on. And yes. And I chose that one in particular because of the nostalgia attached to the suit. And it was incredibly important for me to just be standing there and enjoying that moment. And yeah, that is one of the top moments in my career. It feels great to have the opportunity to wear it again.
Well, it must be, I mean, as you said, you didn't give up hope, and it's something that, like, you've felt the love, feel it here tonight, you've heard the folks online talking about it and people in the streets, that you are a Superman for this generation, and it's, and it wasn't easy to get here, needless to say, but it strikes me that you said you really, there wasn't a moment where you're like, I've made my peace, if I never play Superman again, all good, I think
there's the thing which every actor has to build into their psyche, which is if it doesn't happen again, I'm not going to let it crush me.
Right.
Because we get told no a lot. It's all part of the job. And with this, it meant so much to me. And I thought, I'm going to let it sit and simmer in the background. I'm going to put the cape in the closet and let it stay there. And when the time comes, it's ready.
Right.
But I never lost hope. And that was the key bit for me, because it felt, when I go out to the supermarket or something and someone's like, hey, Superman.
That was me one time, and I resent you.
It never felt dishonest.
Yeah.
I never felt like I was living a lie. Yeah. And so I never gave up hope, and it was always there. I was just waiting for the time to come back.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you sharing. This is his first time speaking publicly about this, with you guys, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll come back around to the journey with Superman, because this is a career conversation. But let's talk a little Enola Holmes, because this is a delightful sequel. This is Enola Holmes 2. It drops November 4th on Netflix. We've joked about this before. I mean, it feels like the only stipulation in your contract is is it an iconic character? I need to play an iconic character. But when Sherlock first came around,
yeah.
Was that oh yeah, that makes sense, this is interesting, this is exciting, or did you have more questions than excitement at the time?
Definitely more questions. I thought, hold on a second, why would you want me to play Sherlock? It doesn't seem to fit, and it's been done so well by so many people before me. And then I got my hands on the script and read it, and I realized that this is a Sherlock that exists within a universe where Enola exists,
right.
Which allows for a very different iteration of the character to be, because yes, his forward-facing self is still very similar to the character who we've seen played before, but when it comes to Enola, there's a special something, and then it made sense to me. I was like, oh, okay, there is a hidden warmth to this character.
It's so fun to see you and Millie, because your energies, both off-screen and on, couldn't be more different. And but I mean that I love you both equally. Don't worry. But she's she's a 18, 19 now. She's a manic kind of excitable teenager, yeah. And there's that side of you, but you can You can
just never see it.
No, there is. But talk to me a little bit about just the mixing it up on set with Millie. First film versus the second film. How much does the relationship on camera mirror what's off?
The relationship on camera very much mirrors what's off. We do have a very older brother, younger sister type relationship. It's a lot of teasing on set, a lot of making fun. I do not hold back when I make fun of her at all, and she doesn't hold back either.
I was going to say, has she ever made you cry, Henry? Has she?
Not that I'm willing to admit, or that anyone's seen. Millie's fantastic. I love working with Millie. She's got such wonderful energy. The days on sets are long, and so it's lovely to have someone like Millie turn up with that kind of energy. It really sort of fuels the whole thing.
Without revealing too much, the Holmes we see at the start of this is not in the best shape.
No, he's borderline alcoholic.
Fun to play drunk? Fun to play someone at their wit's end?
Yes, it is. I mean, it's always slightly nerve-wracking when you're playing drunk. You're thinking, am I doing too much? Is it too little? Is it right for what this movie is?
Right.
And the gauge is always the crew and the other actors. If the other actors in the crew are finding it funny in a way that isn't offensive to me, then that's good. And so I kind of use that as my meter. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's fun to do that kind of stuff.
Totally.
I mean, I do a lot of fake drunk talk in real life. And so
Is this your fake drunk voice right now? Because you are a really sober drunk.
it's not fake drunk.
Thought I smelled something. It's in that glass.
Yes, it's water.
We have a clip for you guys. You want to see a little peek at Enola Holmes too?
Ooh.
All right, let's take a look.
I found you on the street,
Now,
drunk
what may
like
I
a bewildered
observe
beast.
about you?
We're not playing this game.
Shoes are state. Hair's
You and
not
my
much
craft
better. You need to
are
wash
so
your clothes
similar.
every now and again.
So
You are
unwilling to
pale,
look past
undernourished,
your
and you've
no-
lost your...
Stop!
And then there's your fingernails. Why on earth are you working in a match factory?
What?
Last night they were dirty with green traces. This morning they are black. The phosphorus from the matchmaking is mixed with the oxygen in the atmosphere. I wasn't in such a state as to not see that.
How did you...
And your neck is red. Someone has gripped it or held a knife against it. Are you involved in something dangerous? Because you are still my ward. If you need my help, my offer remains on the table. Don't be so desperate to prove yourself, Enola.
I am not desperate. And I don't need your or anyone's help. But this I will have.
Kudos to you both. Kudos to your perfectly unkempt hair. I mean, that is like, if my messy hair could only look like that. Did you grow up reading Sherlock? Were you?
I did not. I mean, my favorite Sherlock story is Hound of the Baskervilles, because I spent plenty of time on Dartmoor with my parents when I was younger. And I think it was audio cassette at that time. Do you guys know what cassettes are?
I'm going to go through every single medium, and then VHS was this thing. Yeah. No.
And being on Dartmoor and listening to that story was wonderful. And so Sherlock was definitely there throughout my youth. But I wasn't necessarily an avid reader of the books.
I mean, I joke about it, but it does feel like you're in a unique position to like teach the master class for any actor who might be intimidated about taking on a role with a strong lineage and history. Like, what would you say to an actor presented with, whether it's Sherlock or Superman or Hamlet or anything? What's been the key for you to overcome any fears or obstacles?
I think it's just approach it honestly and have faith in yourself. That would be the key. I think it's there's a big pitfall of looking at everyone else's work and going, oh, I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do this. And you've got to remember it's your work. And if you approach it from a place of self-confidence and I'm doing this, not to try and be different, but because that is how you interpret the material, then I think that's probably the best way of doing it, because that's going to be the most true to you rather than you just trying to be different or, worse, imitating someone else.
Right. And I would imagine just the success you've experienced in these kind of roles just fuels, hopefully, the confidence going forward. I mean, if you can, you know, hold your own on that mantle with other Sherlocks and Supermen, I mean,
who's to say that I can?
Well,
There's been some
this
amazing
focus group does say that you can.
It's confidence going forward. I think the funny thing is that you're always going to question your own ability and your own self. I think regardless of what you do and regardless of what you've achieved, unless you're completely mad.
Right.
And I think that's a healthy thing because it keeps you disciplined and it keeps you honest.
No, I always say, this is something that comes up a lot on the podcast, is like, I don't trust the folks that are just too comfortable in their own skin, too confident, too complacent.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with them.
Yeah, they're hot.
I'm damaged, you better be a little damaged too. But no, it does keep you sharp.
It does,
yeah,
absolutely. And I think some confidence is good, but complacency and arrogance that's a trap.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about little Henry. It's hard to imagine Henry Cavill was once a little smaller than he was when he is here today. You told me before you called yourself an emotional kid.
Yep.
How did that manifest? And you were one of 4 boys.
5. Yeah.
5? Oh,
yeah,
4
one of 5.
brothers.
Yeah, I was number 4.
Sorry.
I was
Okay.
4 out of 5.
4 or 5. Boarding school. I don't know. Was it all male boarding school or?
All male apart from the last 2 years
Got it.
when I was there. Now that school is fully co-ed.
Got it. So, for an emotional teenager surrounded by a lot of testosterone and aggression and whatever, how did that fuel you? How did you handle that?
I mean, I was no stranger to testosterone and aggression, having grown up in a family full of 5 boys.
Sure.
Lots of fighting and I mean, there was lots of fighting, so much so that
You were about to sugarcoat it and you're like, no,
Yeah.
there was a lot of fighting.
a lot of fighting, so much so that there was a rule that no punching in the face.
Oh.
Yeah, punch anywhere else.
Right, well.
And yeah, even then, but if you did that, you were asking for, that's the line and draw in the sand. It's like, okay, cool, so now dick punches are okay.
Can we adopt that same rule in our relationship, by the way?
But face punches were always off the cards.
Right.
You did that, and you've crossed a line, and it's there's now a problem rather than just a disagreement.
Right.
So going to school, that part wasn't the problem. I think I was just very homesick.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how homesick I was going to be. I was so keen to go to boarding school, and I just desperately wanted to get off the island and get away from my parents. And as soon as I remember my mum leaving, and I was like, oh no. It's like, oh no. And so I was very, very homesick. And I went to a place called Kelly College at first, which was my first boarding school. And I went there for half a term. And it's a great school. 2 of my brothers went there and they loved it. But the problem was by the time I got there, it was a weekly boarding school rather than a full boarding school. So most of the English-speaking kids were gone by the weekend.
Okay.
And for me, that was tricky because I had no one to talk to. And my parents had said, right, let's find you a full boarding school and that'll be better for your integration into this new life. And of course, by the time I went there, and Kelly's an amazing school, and I had a great time there, aside from the weekends. And then I went to Stowe School, absolutely stunning school, amazing grounds. If any of you are ever in the UK, do go visit Stowe School because it is particularly beautiful. But all the groups and cliques had formed at that stage. And I was a fat kid.
Right.
And I had,
He's Superman now, it's okay.
to be fair, yeah. It's just, but once a fat kid, always a fat kid.
Right,
That's the rule.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard. Oh, yeah.
So I also had ambitions to be, because I was head of my prep school, head boy at my prep school. I was very, very proud of that, and I wanted to be head boy at this school. I wanted to be on my CV so I could go to a great university and maybe join the armed forces and all sorts, and get an armed forces scholarship to a fantastic university. And so, late, fat, and ambitious. That's a bad combination.
It's quite a Tinder profile we got there. Yeah. Fast forward a little bit. I don't know if it was your first film, but one of the early roles was in Count of Monte Cristo.
Yes, that was my first role. Yeah.
Major film, major cast, big director. Did you, coming out of that, did you feel like, oh, I got this?
Oh, no.
No?
No. I came out of that saying to my parents, how do I go back and finish school? Because I'm going to be a year late now. Do I just go back a year late, or do I join this year late? But it was my last year, and so I hadn't finished that amount of studying before the big exams. We used to have A-levels at my time, which is advanced level. It's basically 3 subjects, and you'd have probably, I forget how long the exams were, but you'd have 2 or 3 exams per subject, and it was pretty intense. And so to go back to school then, I was really fretting about it. I thought, how am I going to do this? My parents said, you go to school to get a job and have a career. Right. And you have a career. And you have 2 agents, because I got an English agent halfway through that job, who Priscilla John, the casting director, had introduced me to, a guy called Dallas Smith. And then Kevin Reynolds, the director, had put in a good word at an agency in the US. That was William Morris at the time. And then I picked up an agent there, a lady by the name of Hilda Queeley. And so my parents said, look, you've got the thing.
Yeah.
And so go for it. Like, give it your best shot, take a swing at it. And if it doesn't work, then you can always go finish your A-levels and you can join the armed forces and do everything you want to do before.
That's a beautiful gift for, yeah.
Yes. Initially, my dad was saying, no, go to university, do this, do that, get a degree, then try acting. And if it doesn't work, when it doesn't work, then you can... and which is
Thanks, Dad.
but a really fair argument. He was just looking out for me. And he just turned out to be wrong this time. Then that was his idea. Then I got the job, and he went, "Look, no, you've got the thing now. You've achieved the thing. So definitely run with this." And yeah, that was 22 years ago now.
Amazing. So let's
wow.
Let's reflect briefly on some of the famous near misses. This wasn't even like a real near miss, but Stephenie Meyer famously wanted you, was like her dream casting to play Edward Cullen.
Yeah.
You know this? But you didn't even have a meeting or anything. Did you only learn that after the fact, like years later? Like, did you know that like she had this in mind? And when the movie came out, were you like, Pattinson? Like how did you feel?
Yeah, I'm sensing some Batman rivalries. No, not at all, because I didn't know about the movie. I didn't know about them wanting to cast me.
Right.
And the internet wasn't quite the tool that it is now.
Right.
And so, yeah, I only found out afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay, that would have been cool. But
You were up, speaking of Pattinson, you were up for his role in Harry Potter, though.
yes, I remember that. Yeah, I definitely auditioned for that one, and did not get it.
I was going to ask how it went.
Yeah, I mean, the audition may have gone well, it may have gone terribly. I'm sure someone out there has footage which hopefully is locked away, will never be seen. But yeah, I didn't get it, it wasn't right. I think how old is Robert?
He's I think he's close to your age, maybe a couple years younger.
Okay, I think a couple of years younger at that time, though, is a big difference.
Right.
I think I was probably, might be 19, 20.
Right.
And that makes a big difference when you're playing a kid in high school.
Yes. Yes.
Well, it used to, anyway.
You famously were very much in the running for James Bond.
Yes.
Way back when. Was that something, again, like that must be so intimidating, like just to get that opportunity. Did you feel at the time you were close?
They told me I was close.
Oh, then yes.
They told me it was ultimately down to, and this is what I've been told. Right. Someone out there is like, that's not true. I was there too. It was just down to me and Daniel, and I was the younger option.
Got it.
And I think, yeah, they obviously went with Daniel, and I think it was an amazing choice to go with Daniel. I probably wasn't ready at the time, and yeah, I think Daniel did an incredible job over the past movies. So I'm happy they made that choice. It was a fun adventure at the time, and definitely gave me a boost to my career. That was the key element of it. I was getting a lot of auditions, which I went to, which went really, really well. And the casting director and the producer would call me and say, you were the best person who came in the room, we love you, but you're not a name. So, yeah.
What does that look like in an email, by the way?
Yeah, by the way. ... And you hear that enough times, you're just like, right, okay. And whether that's true or not, it could be a complete lie, it could have been terrible. But then once I had screen tested for Bond, and I was on a short list, and my photo was in Variety,
right.
Then it was, oh, okay, this guy might carry some kind of name now. And so it started to help things build a bit more.
The producers of Bond now say they're looking for an actor in their 30s.
Uh-huh.
How old?
They haven't got much time.
I was going to say, how old are you, Henry?
I am 39.
We did it! We're doing it!
Yeah. I'm quite busy now.
Oh, look at him playing hard to get. I don't know.
Yeah, I love those guys, Barbara and Mike. They are wonderful, and I have very fond memories of having cocktails with them, I think at Mike's house once, and then I had a Vespa Martini with Barbara, which I thought was fitting, because it was for Casino Royale. And it was a really, really fun time, and it was great to be in the mix of that stuff. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, whether I'm considered for the role or not, I don't know. But it'd be fun to have the conversation, for sure. And if I'm not, then I just want to see what they do with it next, because I think they're amazing.
Yeah. Let's talk a little more Superman. So when you went up for Superman, this was actually the second time you were going up for Superman, I believe, right? Like
Yes.
by the time you met Zach,
Yeah.
you had already,
Yes.
in a previous iteration, had auditioned.
Yes.
So when you met him for Man of Steel, did you have a different take? Did you walk into that room feeling like you had an approach?
No different from, and it wasn't like I was doing the same or different from before. Sorry, I keep on leaning backwards and forwards, so I'm in the wrong sort of,
All good.
ruin everyone's ears.
Look into my eyes. All right, everybody.
It's either you definitely do or you definitely don't. Because the script was so different and the story was so different from one to the other, that it was very unique. The one similarity was Laura Kennedy, the casting director, and I know that I was, out of a bunch, one of her favorites, and I think when it came around again, she was like, "Okay, right, now let's do this time."
Right.
And so I had my foot in the door a little bit, so it was very lucky, and here we are.
Here we are.
400 years later.
Well, no. Almost. You've said some very nice things about, of course, Zack Snyder, who's meant so much to your career. He obviously remains an ardent fan of yours.
Yep.
Little surprise for you, Henry. I reached out to Zach, and he sent something in.
Uh-oh.
Let's look at a message from Zack Snyder for Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Wow.
Henry, I have a question. When we first did Man of Steel, and we were doing the flying shots for the first time, and we put you in the belly pan or on the wires, I can't remember which we did first. Did it feel odd to be, just there in front of green screen, doing your flying, shots, with us just touching the camera, and you having to act like you're flying, but before you had ever seen what it might look like or what it might feel like? How was that? Was that odd, and did you expect it to turn out the way it did? So that's my question. I can't wait to work with you in the future, and you are, of course, the greatest Superman ever.
He's a lovely man. He's a lovely man, and I'm enormously appreciative of everything he's done for me, especially by casting me in Man of Steel. Those are formative memories of mine, career-wise. It was when everything changed, and I remember them fondly. Yeah. I remember fondly hanging above fields it was Illinois, and just outside of Plano. Amazing memories and a lot to be thankful for. So, Zach, if you're watching on one of these many cameras, thank you. Thank you, my friend.
Just to clarify for the future, because the folks will kill me if I don't ask like a specific question, is there a specific plan? Is there a script or a director or a story, or are we at the stage where we're figuring out what the next Superman story is?
Right now, I can't share any information.
Okay.
I know. But if I'm going to be a good partner to everyone, then I have to be able to keep the secrets when the secrets are necessary. So right now I can't share anything, but in time, I'll be able to share, and everyone will hear all the exciting things to come.
Fair enough. And I know I'll speak for the entire audience. We're thrilled you're back. We love the cameos. We want Man of Steel 2. We want a solo Superman movie.
Thank you, guys.
As if all these franchises wasn't enough, what you did in Mission Impossible Fallout was just so extraordinary. Talk to me a little bit about that experience, because Christopher McQuarrie is the director, and the approach to these films is like nothing. I don't know how much you guys know about this, how the sausage is made on the Mission films, but it's like, it seems like it's almost organized chaos where like he's kind of creating as it goes.
Yes.
Did it shock you the way these movies were made, and did it shock you how well it turned out?
No, it didn't really, because when you're working with McHugh, you realize that he's not stuck to one thing.
Right.
And that's really, really important. I think it's very important to have a framework to work from, but he is constantly evolving the story depending on how the scenes have turned out, what's available, any new ideas that are coming in. He and Tom as a duo are extraordinary because they are always coming up with creative ideas, and they'll have meetings about stuff and say, what if this happens instead of that? And they'll go, oh, that's a really good idea, but that means we have to change all of this. And they go, we love this, so let's change all of that.
Wow.
And it did become very much sides the night before and sometimes the day of, which is becoming more and more usual these days.
Right. I mean, if you can pull it off, if you have the right people, great.
Absolutely.
If you're McHugh and Tom Cruise.
Yes. And they are so good at what they do. If I could work with any of them again for the rest of my career, I would.
Yeah.
There was no sense of, I'm not too sure how this is going to turn out with McHugh. You always knew that he knew what he was doing. He had a plan, and he's exceptional. He's really good.
Can we just revel in one of the greatest moments in cinematic history from Fallout? Let's take a look at this. This is on a loop. This is on a loop. This is not an actual scene. This is a moment from a scene. Let's just watch this moment over and over again together.
I've seen so many conversations about this on Reddit where I managed to punch a pocket square onto my shirt and grow a beard.
Yeah. That's how much testosterone this man has. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what this, my question is except what was in the script? Was there any directive like, pump your arms like they're guns? Like, is that an improv? What is that?
No, there was nothing like that. It was actually because it was a rather intense fight scene. We'd actually been shooting it for about 3 weeks at that stage, which is a long time in comparison to things like The Witcher, where you get a day.
Right.
And everything starts to get quite sore after a while because it's a lot of repetitive motion. And the tendons in the connective tendons in my biceps were getting sore, and so I had to warm them up before I threw punches. And I'd literally do that to warm them up, and I did it once, and I thought, oh God, that probably looked really stupid. I can't believe I did that. and I said, oh, sorry, McHugh, I won't do that again. He's like, do what? Okay, whatever. Let's go again. And then I did another take without doing it. He's like, why didn't you do that thing? That was really good. And I was like, that was good? He said, yes, definitely do that. And so we did. And
cinematic history is born.
Yeah.
Just running through, we're going to get into your audience questions in a couple minutes, but The Witcher. We have to mention The Witcher. That was it. I had no question.
The rest of my case.
Yes. Third season has been shot. What can you say about, what can we expect from the third season of The Witcher?
Oh, I can tell you nothing.
Great.
What I can tell you is that I was working with Wolfgang Stegemann again. You will know his work from Mission Impossible, and also from the Blaviken fight scene, which is episode 1, season 1. And so we got to do a whole season together. And working with Wolfie is amazing. He is such an extraordinary stunt coordinator, a very close friend, so talented. And there's a lot of action in season 3. And we got to do an awful lot together, sometimes by the skin of our teeth and working miracles, But we got it done, and we hope that you guys get to enjoy our work, because Wolfie really he's the best.
Excellent. Since I said at the outset, you are a big old nerd just like myself. In fact, a bigger nerd than me, frankly. You know the stuff way better than I do. I'm just curious, like, what are you watching? Have you had time to watch? Because you told me your comfort movies were Lord of the Rings, the expanded editions. Yeah, the extended editions. Have you checked out Rings of Power?
I have, in what time I have, I've dipped into it.
Okay.
And what does everyone think? What does everyone think?
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. Right? Yeah. Beautiful, absolutely stunning from what I saw. And I don't want to butcher her name. Morfydd?
Yes, I think it is Morfydd.
Yeah. She's extraordinary.
Yep.
She's really, really good.
House of the Dragon, have you checked it out?
How does everyone feel about that? Yes, I have. And I enjoyed that enormously. I think the writing was fantastic. The Fabian Wagner's lighting was amazing. Fabian, who worked with Zach and I on Zach's Justice League.
Amazing.
And the character performances were incredible. I think it's a really good show.
You must have heard the rumors out there that you were going to be in the next season of House of the Dragon and Loki, right?
I mean, to be fair, when I was watching House of the Dragon, I was like, I feel like a lot of these guys can make really good witches.
The hair's not so far off.
It's like, those wigs are good.
So does Witcher scratch that itch? We're not going to see you in Westeros anytime soon?
I mean, I think it'd be cool to be in Westeros. I really do. I don't think I don't think there's a place for me in there, though.
Okay. Should I read body language or anything from the fact that you didn't respond to my Loki question?
Oh, I forgot the Loki question.
Just that was a rumor going around that you're going to be in Loki?
As far as I know, I am not going to be in Loki.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just asking what the people want to know, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a tricky one to handle at this stage.
Right. Fair enough.
I don't know, James Gunn can do it. Maybe I can too.
There you go. Speaking of, you heard the news today that James Gunn is going to be helping steer the ship, I assume.
Yes. Yeah. Very excited about that.
Right. Okay, let's talk a little bit about gaming. How much time have you been carving out for your gaming life?
A fair amount. Okay. And when I say a fair amount, that probably means a lot for those who don't game.
Just 4 hours a day.
I mean, maybe more. I have been playing Warhammer Total War, Warhammer 3 Total War. And yes, some people of culture in the audience. I love that game. It's so good. It's so good.
Are your friends and family supportive of your... For instance, a friend, a loved one comes home and sees that you're painting a Warhammer figurine.
Yeah.
Is that a conversation? Is that just understood, like, this is what you signed up for, this is Henry?
Okay, right. Most friends and loved ones know about that, and it's no shock. A lot of my family are into it, but I've definitely had people over at my house and very proudly showed them my miniatures, and they're like, okay. Yeah, and you can see them going, oh, yeah, that's really good. And you can just see them thinking, God, get me out of here. I need another beer. I can't pretend to be interested this long.
Do you have a most treasured geek possession? Like, what do you show off? If I came over to the man cave, what do you like? Josh, you gotta check this out. This is pretty cool.
I don't know if I have a most. I mean, I'm moving around so much that it's very difficult for me to have any one thing. However, recently, Blizzard did just send me this massive statuette of the Lich King. And it's from Classic, because Classic got released for Wrath of the Lich King. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It looks really, really good.
Would you ever develop a game? Does that interest you to like be a creator or a creative consultant or anything? Because it's just something that's so a part of you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's so much work that goes into those, and I'm not too sure I want to peek too far behind the curtain and see all the ones and zeros. I think I'll leave that to the experts and the coders out there, and I'm going to appreciate their work.
Fair enough.
And let them do that. I prefer, this is the one thing I think I want to stay on the outside of.
Okay.
For now.
What about producing? I'm actually surprised you haven't produced yet.
The time will come.
Yeah.
The time will come. It is something which I'm very excited about doing, and something that's important to me. I want to be there from the beginning of things, and to guide the ship from the get-go. And that time will come. It's just a matter of time.
So, Enola Holmes, Witcher. We also have a Matthew Vaughn film that I'm very excited to see eventually. This is Argylle.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
And it must be fascinating to work with Matthew again, because you worked with him way back when, didn't you?
I did indeed, yes. And I love Matthew. He's such a wonderful...
Thank you.
Oh, I was like, am I getting dragged off stage? This is the closest I'll ever get to the Oscars. They're like, shut up. You can't talk anymore. I love Matthew. Matthew's such a wonderful man.
Yeah.
And he's one of those people who I would work with at the drop of a hat.
Here's some questions from the audience, shall
Okay.
we? All right. Elizabeth wants to know, any chance of doing Broadway? Does Broadway interest you at all?
Hello, Elizabeth, and thank you for the question. Where are you?
Right here.
Right there. Somewhere in the blackness.
That response time was a little alarming.
Yeah. Are you really Elizabeth? You're definitely not Elizabeth.
All right, Elizabeth. Theater, Broadway, yes.
Could be. Could be Elizabeth. Yeah. Anyway, Broadway. I do love to sing from time to time, but I would definitely need to go into lots of training for that kind of thing. And there are people who have been working far harder and far longer at achieving Broadway than me, and I wouldn't want to take up any space away from them. So not anytime in the near future, but...
Good question. We're not going to start shouting the questions.
Yeah.
I'll allow that one. Shakespeare.
At the moment, I'm going to focus on film and TV.
All right. So singing, are we talking show tunes, Taylor Swift? Like, what are you doing what are you singing in your shower?
I can't tell you all my secrets.
Okay. We're not quite there yet. Let's see. I don't know who wrote this, but I'm going to read it nonetheless. You've been a leading man for years. Do you like the responsibility that comes with it?
Do I like the responsibility? Yes, I think is the honest answer. I think it's... I wouldn't necessarily say about being a leading man, but I think with these characters that are very, very dear to me, I do take the responsibility very seriously. And so it is enjoyable to be given that opportunity and that privilege.
Which character, this is from Monica, which character do you feel you've learned the most from? Superman or Sherlock?
Hey, Annika, where are you?
Respectful wait time on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monica, I respect
She's
it.
like, 1, 2, 3, here! Well, hello, I think you're over there somewhere. I think. Up there. It's always terrifying when they say in that kind of way.
Behind you. What?
I think I've probably learned the most from Superman. I've been playing Supes for so many years in my life, and from an earlier age as well. And so when you play a character like Superman, it's a responsibility in public as well as it is on camera. And so it's something which has taught me a lot, and about myself, and about the world as well, and about the power of important characters like Superman and what it means to a lot of people.
I believe this is Carlos. I hope I'm reading that correctly. Carlos wants to know how do you drink your martinis?
At the moment, and this may change at any time, straight up with a twist, extra cold.
Okay.
Yeah. So not the other one.
Clever audience. What do you do to overcome adversity, specifically the no's you got in pursuit of your acting dreams?
Say that again.
what do you do to overcome adversity? Specifically, the no's you got in pursuit of your acting dreams. I mean, there's no career that is at any stage, without rejection of a different sort.
Right.
How do you move past it?
When you said no's, I was like, I know. It's.
Oh yeah,
it's
I'm reading it
not
back
great,
now.
but
Yeah.
it's not terrible, right? Suddenly incredibly self-conscious. But,
Yeah. No, your face is messed up, man. No one's ever said that to you?
Yeah.
All right.
I know it's broken. It's not that bad. Right. So, how do you overcome adversity? It's having belief in what you're doing, whether it is being told no a lot of the time, or whether it's any other thing that you're overcoming on a job or trying to get a job. It's just having belief in what you're doing. And something, for better or for worse, I had as a young actor was belief. I believed it was going to happen. I genuinely did. Whether that was just bravado and the wrong thing to do, I don't know, because it ended up happening. But that's a key ingredient. You will always have moments when you don't believe in yourself and when you're not too sure whether the fight is worth it anymore. And those are the hardest moments. That's when you can really prove to yourself that you can pick yourself up. And that's when other people in your life as well come. You can't do it all by yourself. It's important to have a support system in one way, shape, or form, because as an actor, you will face a lot of adversity. You'll face a lot of walls creatively, and also when it comes to the nose. And it's just about belief. If you believe what you're doing is the right thing, then you'll be able to keep on doing it. It's also important to know that if you realize you're doing the wrong thing, that's when you stop doing the wrong thing. You don't just keep on going just because that leads down a dark path.
As great a point as that is to end the evening, I have one more question, which is beyond Superman even almost, I think the thing that came up the most people on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And Lisa has a question about this. Does your dog, Cal, have any superpowers? How is Cal?
Cal is great. He's great. Sorry I didn't bring him today. What is his superpower? He and I we've been together now for 8 years. And I think his superpower is just being there for me. It can be very lonely being an actor, especially in years before where I've been single. And Cal's always been there. And he's an extraordinary animal. And dogs, in particular, they are sent from the heavens. They truly are. And Cal in particular.
I will say, I think for 90% of our half hour backstage, we were talking about our dogs.
Yeah, we were.
Basically. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you, man, especially in this really wonderful moment that you can feel the love, I hope, tonight here and across the internet as you guys are watching online. We appreciate your passion for every role. We know you're a fan first, and the seriousness and the good humor you bring to everything is much appreciated. Enola Holmes 2 drops on Netflix November 4th. Check it out, guys. And thank you, New York City. Thank you, everybody. And most of all, thank you to Henry Cavill.